Dave Anderson here with the Fisherman magazine. It is April 3rd. These are your headlines. We've seen the first tog of the season in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut this week. Also seeing some really nice largemouth bass. And we've got 2 shows this weekend where we'll be giving away pliers. Stay tuned for all that and more on this week's New England Fishing Forecast.
The ultimate fishing authority in the Northeast, the Fisherman magazine.
No guessing, just catching. New Explore Series fish finders keep you locked on fish with unbeatable clarity, best-in-class imaging options, and a stunning ultra-bright HD screen. There's more to explore, only with Humminbird.
Before we begin, we got a few news items for you guys. The first ones are about those shows. First one, we will be at the Tried and True Fishing Expo over in Wareham. It's at the Town Suites by Marriott. And this is a pretty cool show. It's got a little bit of everything. You've got custom lure builders, you've got custom rod builders, you've got charter captains, you got a bunch of used tackle. I think there's some tackle shops that are going to be there as well. And we will be there giving away our pliers, signing up new subscribers and renewing subscriptions. And this is a one-day show. It runs from 9 to 4, $10 to get in. And this is Saturday, April 5th. You don't want to miss this one, especially if you're out by the Cape. You know, you can make a little day out of it. You can hit a couple tackle shops, maybe hit Mako's, Red Top, Canal Bait, maybe take a walk along the canal as well. Next one is going to be on the same day, April 5th. This one is in Middletown, Rhode Island at the Saltwater Edge. This is their striper kickoff. And I want to remind you guys that they have moved. So last year, if you went, it was across the street in the Michaels Plaza. This year, it's going to be across the way in the Stop and Shop Plaza. So when you come to that light, right by the McDonald's, you're going to pull into the Stop and Shop parking lot, and you should be able to sort of haul your way in from there. As you'll see the big tent. This is a great show, though. This brings together some of the best in the business as far as plug builders go. You got Chris Voorhees, you got Gary Soldati, you got Paul Moriarty, Frank Gonsalves. One of my new favorites is Matt from Solstice. I'll be there with some plugs, and I'll be renewing subscriptions as well. So you definitely don't want to miss that one. This one's free to get in. Starts at 9 a.m. and ends when it ends. There'll be food trucks there. There'll be good sales in the store. And a lot of guys are going to be there, cashing in on this opportunity to get these hard-to-get plugs. So you definitely want to check that one out. Last thing is the giveaway, which is ongoing. Haven't seen too many photos this week. A little bit of an uptick, though. Seeing a lot more freshwater stuff. Seeing some nice largemouth coming in. As you probably remember, we are giving away a Surf Howdy made by me and a Dexter fillet knife. This one's going to wrap up on May 25th, so you got lots of time still to cash in on that. The basics of the rules of the contest are it's got to be recently caught fish. It's got to show the angler holding the fish. You got to email it to me at danderson@thefisherman.com or text it to the number on the screen and just give me all the pertinent details, like where the fish was caught, who caught it, how big it was, that kind of stuff. We'll get you in the contest, probably get you in the magazine, we'll get you in the report, and hey, you might even win something cool.
For more than 20 years, anglers everywhere have come to know one thing, that nothing says no to fish bites.
Moving over into the reports, and before we get local, I want to check in with an old friend. We got Jim Jewkes sent us a report from way down in North Carolina. He's down there sort of applying his New England techniques to southern fish, and he wanted to send us a report. So let's check in with him here.
Morning, everyone. Dave, hope you're well. Hope everybody's well. Just checking in from down here at South Carolina. Still got my Surfland stuff going and my fisherman hat. Seen better days so far. Been fishing a ton down here. Just had myself about a 9-10 pound blue catfish, a couple other smaller ones, and a number of bowfin. A couple of fish I added to my species list, and it's fantastic. Plenty of bream, sunfish, bluegill, red ear, sunfish as well, and flyer sunfish. Never knew that one. But yeah, everything's good. Tactics are all the same. If anybody visits down here, it's very similar. Bait and weight, you can plug, you can do a lot of things, all in a freshwater. Haven't made my way to the saltwater yet, but I'll check back with you later when I do. Dave, hope you have a great day.
Up in the North Country there, up in Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, still some ice fishing in interior portions going on. I haven't heard from anyone who's actually doing it, but I know that there's still safe ice up in the mountains there. You get down closer to the coast, you get down further south, there's not so much ice anymore. A few guys have been pond fishing, doing some smallmouth bass fishing. It sounds like it's been slow to start. But, you know, things are progressing toward rod and reel at this point. Dropping down over the border into Massachusetts, Kevin had some phone trouble, so he wasn't able to shoot us a video. But he did tell me that the haddock opener kind of fizzled. The weather was not great. I think it was uncomfortable for the party boats. You know, so they got some fish, but it was pretty lumpy out there. And hopefully we'll get a better report from them next week. Other things that have been going on, guys are fishing the Merrimack. They're finding some pike and they're finding some carp. A few guys are looking for shad already, but I think it's more of a waiting game at this point. And same thing with white perch, guys out looking but not catching so much. And then as far as the ponds go in the local area, trout and bass fishing has been very good, seeing some big pickerel in the area as well. Dropping down into the Boston area, let's check in now with Danny Parma from Fish Bucket Sport Fishing.
Thanks, Dave. Dan checking in with this week's report. Don't have much of a report this week. Really just been busy getting the boat ready for the season and getting some maintenance done. I have been doing pretty good on the Merrimack River with the smallies, but that's about it. Getting ready for charter season coming up. Get your permits, get your licenses, get everything situated because stripers are coming. That's what I got for you. Stay safe. I'll catch you on the next one.
Moving up into Central Mass, the reports have been kind of lean, other than guys bass fishing. I guess the largemouth fishing has been pretty good. And as we talked about last week, every time the DFW posts on their Instagram or Facebook that Central Mass Pond has been stocked, it seems to get inundated with anglers, which has sort of affected the long-term bite from what I've been hearing. A couple of those ponds that got stocked last week and got hammered right away have had a tough bite. A place like Pratt Pond has been tough since then, but you know, fishing early in the morning, later in the evening, guys are finding some fish. And the other thing I want to talk about in Central Mass is that Wachusett Reservoir opens this weekend. That's April 5th, and opens at dawn. So you guys can start fishing right at dawn. This kicks off another Wachusett season. If this is something you've wanted to get in on and you're just not really sure how to get started, you can check out Jamie Price's article in the April edition. She breaks down how she gets it done over there, and it's a really awesome fishery. I fished Wachusett religiously for many years, and it's just a great place to go. So you guys definitely want to check that out. And then moving out to Western Mass, let's check in now with Roy Leyva. Here he is.
Hey Dave, Roy Leyva here with this week's Western Mass report. It's like someone threw the switch on. Last week, well actually earlier last week, we still had ice on some of the lakes and ponds out here in Western Mass. And now they're completely open. But not only that, you know, we've had the stockings of big trout. Regular stockings are starting to move because all the water's being opened up and water temps are starting to get up there. But also bass are coming up into the shallows. Yellow perch are spawning at this very moment or have spawned at this very moment. Pike are in the shallows spawning. Walleye in the rivers up here are moving into shallow water in urge of spawning. Crappie are moving up. I mean, it's just like all of a sudden, like within a week's time, no matter what the temperature has been or what, everything has just come together and fishing is just all out right now. So besides the wind and the rain, there's plenty of fishing to do out here in Western Mass. So I'm telling you, just get out there and wet a line. It's going to happen. Peace.
Heading down toward the Cape into the approaches to Cape Cod. Things are kicking off pretty good there. We've seen some big rainbow trout coming out of places like Long Pond, Little Pond. Seems like the state did a good job putting some really big trout in this year. Also seeing some really nice largemouth. I got the pick of a fish here that looks hard to tell how big this is. It's got kayak fish, so you kind of get that everything crowded into the shot. But a big fish taken out of one of the ponds out in Rochester there, so that's really great to see and sort of indicative of the time of year. Water temps are still a little bit low. I've been hearing, mid 40 degree right now in a lot of these ponds, which is kind of holding things back a little bit. So where these last 5 years or so, this bite that we're seeing now might have been more like mid-March. It's kind of showing up in the beginning of April. I think that's a good thing. It's just prolonging this spring bite. Crossing the canal, same story out there. I've seen some smallmouth come out of a couple ponds out there. I've seen some really big pickerel coming from spots out there. And then the trout fishing has been kicking hard. They always stock the heck out of the Cape. I think maybe because the sandwich hatchery's right there, they're just constantly putting the truck out there, putting trout in. So the bite has been very good all throughout the Cape. Other thing I have seen is a few guys going holdover fishing. And one of my buddies here, he's been doing well, but he's really tight-lipped about exactly where this is going down. But this is proof that you can find some really nice fish in the wintertime, or well, I guess the beginning of springtime. And other than that, the only other thing I've heard is a few guys fishing for tog, and it sounds like the guys around the Maritime Academy are starting to see a few fish. So that's always the beginning, and it's just going to branch out from there, and that's what I have for you guys in Massachusetts this week. Crossing over into Rhode Island, we'll start things off with an East Bay report from TJ Kopecky.
Thanks, Dave. Hey, guys. Great to be back. Got a lot to cover this week on the East Bay. Not only just fishing, but just some projections and some spots to try. And I got to say, it's like happy fishing season. April 1st has gone by already. And here we are in the first week of April, which is typically a little slow because the water temperatures are still a little cold in the East Bay. Spots to look for if you're going to fish for bass. Spots to look for right now around this week would be the White Church Bridge in Barrington. There is a herring run adjacent to that. There could be some holdover bass, and we've known and speculated that a little further up in Hundred Cove that bass had stayed there year round. There's a nice little marshland up there with some mud flats that heat up really well in the sun. So look for that water up there to be warm, and if there's holdovers up there, they're definitely going to be active. The tog, I just don't think that in the Warren or Barrington Rivers we're going to see tog right away. Some of the spots to look for right away would be try fishing the Mount Hope Bridge pilings on the Portsmouth side where the mussel beds are. That's always a great early season haunt for fish. Using crabs for bait is typically good. Worms with the soft mouth. And sometimes the clam tongue will work also. But I would say up inside of the bay, I look back in my memories and I always take photos of all my pictures to see when I caught fish throughout the previous years. And right around April 12th through the 16th, in the last 5 years, I've caught the tog in the Warren River. So I'm going to say right after trout season, I usually stop fishing behind the Tourista for tautog, and there should be some fish in there. Other spots for tautog that you can try would be the Barrington Bridge. You could also get up on the Warren Bridge, and you could also fish the White Church Bridge and also the Coles River. Other good spots for early season, but one standout spot that's always been good early season, more into the South Coast Massachusetts, is the old Brightman Street Bridge in Fall River, the Fall River Somerset line. It's typically been a great early season spot in the Taunton River for tautog. Moving into freshwater, I got a chance to get out again the previous week with Todd Traons again, and I tell you, we've been slaying some nice crappie up inside Milford Pond. And I just wanted to let you know that Lewinbrook Pond in Swansea also has been stocked. So that's another spot where you can trout fish if you're a Massachusetts licensed fisherman. And I just wanted to say, if you got the April edition of the Fisherman magazine, there's a great article in there by Matt Broderick, and he wrote it on early season fluke. So if you're a Rhode Island fisherman, April 1st also starts the season for fluke. So get your gear out, dust it off. There might not be fluke up inside the bay for a while, but some of the early haunts for fluke could be the upper Sakonnet River. And I've always done well in June with that, and also in May. So it's a good time just to get your gear and get the dust off. But it's a great article, and that's in the April edition that just came out of the Fisherman magazine. Hey guys, you got ample opportunities, and one other note would be Lucky Bait is open now 7 days a week, 6 to 6, and we got bait supply for 7 days a week now. But that's all we got from the East Bay, and we'll catch you next week. Tight lines, guys.
The big news this week has been that the tog fishing kicked off on the right foot. Even in spite of a really cold winter, seen quite a few guys that got in on some early season togging. A lot of smaller fish. I saw Dustin Stevens had a couple this week from the kayak, so that lets you know that they're not way the heck out there in 80 feet of water. They're in tight to shore, and guys are getting in on it. They're finding a few codfish in the mix, and they're even finding a few striped bass in the mix. So things are moving in the right direction across Rhode Island. A lot of the striped bass fishing I've been hearing about is up inside. So inside the rivers, inside the salt ponds, up inside the bay. These are mostly holdover fish, but there have been a few fish out along the beaches. Most of them have been in the 15 to 25 inch range, and they are definitely kind of scattered. It's not like a crazy bite. In fact, most of these fish were caught by accident by guys togging or fishing for cod or whatever. But there are a few striped bass moving along the coast right now, which is pretty cool to see. Definitely, though, your best shot for bigger fish is up inside. I know Todd Treones had a nice fish today, and we're just seeing that striped bass bite, the holdover striped bass bite, just getting better and better as these herring move in and as the waters warm up. Things are just getting more and more exciting. While we're in the central part of the state, let's check in with Captain John Lee from JL Charters. Here he is.
Hey, it's John Lee, Point Judith, Rhode Island. I'm in my backyard, standing on my boat, putting a full day, prepping the hull, filling a lot of the gouges, fairing it out. I'm gonna paint the hull. It's a 1977 JC. It's kind of like a lobster boat, and that hull needs some attention. The boat's in pretty good shape for being from the late 70s. But there's lots of spider cracks, there's lots of little gouges. So there's been a lot of fairing and filling. It's not gonna look like a yacht. I don't intend it to look like a yacht, but it's gonna look pretty good. I haven't really done much else but this. I broke some reels down. I went through 6 or 7 of my Daiwa Sea Gates, and I'm also doing some exhaust work. I went fishing the other day, largemouth fishing, brought the dog. We walked along a bank. I brought one lure. It was real low impact, but it was a nice, warm, late March day. And we didn't get anything, but it was kind of fun just to kind of get my mind, start thinking about fishing. Anyway, I'll get up with you, but looks like we got a lot of rain the next few days. That's kind of going to dampen my hull work. But I'll get back to you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
In the famed waters of Panama awaits a fishing experience like no other. Tropic Star Lodge welcomes anglers to get in on world-famous fishing action. Plan your perfect trip today. Tropic Star Lodge, the ultimate in fishing adventures for more than 60 years.
Now, the other thing going on in Rhode Island right now is an exceptional largemouth bass bite. I know Jeff Sullivan had his personal best this week. That fish went over 8 pounds.
Hey Dave, what's going on, guys? Checking back in this week with another big bass on jerkbaits and wake baits. But he wants to say hello to the people. Say hello, Mr. Goblin. But yes, big bass are out here, guys. Just, you got to stick with the weather windows. You got to pick the steady conditions and find those rock piles, find those structures, because those bass are hanging on it. And hey, I'll check back in with you guys next week. Pre-spawn is on. Get out there. Go get them, guys.
A lot of guys doing it with the jerkbait still. I mean, there's still what am I trying to say? A lot of guys doing it with the jerkbait still. The swim bait bite is starting, but it hasn't really kicked up like we would typically expect at this time of the year. Probably just a marker as far as the water temp goes right now. As things warm up just a little bit more, I expect to see that swim bait bite really kicking into gear. But for now, the jerkbait bite, the jig bite has been really kicking out some really nice fish. And along the South County beaches, got a few of those straggler stripers. You got some fish up inside the Pawcatuck River, inside the salt ponds. I haven't heard an actual tautog report from that area, but I guarantee you there are some tautog out there. I just haven't heard from the right guy. And that's what I have for you guys in Rhode Island this week. Moving over into Connecticut, as we talked about last week, Connecticut fishermen just go crazy for blackfish. And the Sound is probably the toughest spot throughout southern New England to get those really early season tautog. In fact, a lot of years we don't see any discernible, like, good bite coming together until the last week of the season. This is just a month-long season, only lasts the month of April, so it's great. I'm really happy to be able to pass along the information that guys are getting some fish at the New Haven walls as of this morning. This is April 2nd. So, you know, your best bet is definitely to fish west. You might find some fish around the Niantic Bay area, up around Millstone, but the Western Sound doesn't have all that water exchange with Block Island Sound and Fisher's Island Sound. And I think we just have, you know, more stable water temperatures, which inspires earlier feeding and gets these fish in tighter earlier in the season as well. If you really wanted to get it done in the Eastern Sound, I would concentrate on the Millstone area or up inside Niantic Bay, but by and large, I think the Western Sound is the way to go. I have heard of some striped bass moving around inside the Connecticut River, a few moving around in the Thames as well. But it seems like it's been a little slower this year than what we've seen over the past several years. Who knows why that could be? Maybe it just weren't the numbers of holdovers this year as we've seen in the past, or maybe it's just a colder winter. But guys fishing little paddle tails are finding some fish. They're just really grinding it out. Another thing that opened up on April 1st was winter flounder, and I did see my first winter flounder picture come in from Mikey D'Alfonso. He always gets out on April 1st to catch that first flounder, and he did it again this year. And if that's something you want to get in on, you might want to check out Mikey's story in the April edition. It's all about kind of knocking down a spring grand slam. You got winter flounder, tautog, and striped bass. He runs down how he gets that all done with one rig. That's a great story to check out. Moving up into the Connecticut River area, I know there's been some pike up around the Haddam area. It seems to be getting a little bit better. Striped bass in the coves have been on the slower side. And you know, we're starting to see the beginning of that sort of springtime ramp up of perch and other panfish species. While we're in the Connecticut River area, let's check in with our field correspondent, starting with Rowan Lytle.
Hey everybody, so we're sticking with fairly neurotic spring conditions, relatively cool. The Connecticut River came up a little bit, about 12 feet at Thompsonville, and has settled back down. It'll probably stay around 10, 11 feet for the foreseeable future. The main stem of the river is still fairly muddy and still quite cold. That said, plenty of good backwater fishing to be done. I've had a couple clients out for carp this week, and the fishing has been pretty productive. And looking forward to more of that continuing. Pike have slowed a little bit, at least my pike fishing slowed quite a bit. We'll see if that turns around. Waiting for that water to crest 50 degrees in most spots still. Hasn't quite gotten there yet. That really seems to be kind of the magic number. But things still fairly productive if you find the right water and you know, work hard and fish hard. You'll eventually pull something out.
Now we'll head down the river and check in with Mike Roy from Reelcast Charters.
Hey everybody, for this week's fishing report, I'm out on the water on the Conch 27,
just splashed it. Got this nice new Aqua Grip logo on my shroud here. We are starting fishing this weekend, so looking forward to another great season. It's going to start with striped bass fishing in the rivers. Should be fun, casting small soft plastics, all on light spinning rods. Usually good action. Should be good for probably the next 3 weeks or so. We have some openings for that. There's another logo up front I did. I think that came out really good. In the conch here, I'll show you real quick. We just checked all the electrical. Got my big live wells. Watch out, guys. Right here. That's the big 110-gallon live well, and another 90 gallons in the stern. Boat has a lot of storage. Really considered by most to be the best fishing platform sub 30-foot boat. So this is a really great boat to be fishing on, and we're looking forward to starting the season. Just went through the trailer, the electrical. Now's the time to go through everything, make sure everything is working properly before I start fishing.
Now I'll cross the river, check in at Black Hall Outfitters with Matt Stone. Here he is.
What's up, everyone? Matt here from Black Hall Outfitters in Westbrook with this week's fishing report. It is finally April. I am so excited. I feel like it's finally time to get into fishing instead of just hoping. Doing more catching than fishing, hopefully. Definitely on a warming trend right now. Still, I was out freshwater yesterday getting hits on spinner baits and square bill crankbaits. Always nice. Good to get those guys eaten. Over new vegetation is a good place to start. If you're looking for those guys, anywhere that's going to hold heat, maybe a rock wall riprap at the end of the day after the sun's been on it, anything along those lines, always good. And your normal freshwater, slow jerkbaits, jigs, things like that are still going to be great all the way through April. For saltwater, blackfish season is open here in Connecticut. It is a little tough usually earlier in the season. I know some guys do really well on the early bite, but you really got to be patient. It's not like the fall where you set the hook a bunch of times. You might set the hook a half dozen times, but the beauty is it's usually a pretty solid blackfish. So that will get better as the month goes on, just on pretty consistent trend. I'll probably try from here pretty soon. We're also going to get increasingly better backwater schoolies. Those guys kind of tend to fire up. I saw some bait in our local canal for the first time on Saturday, which was really cool. Didn't go out to see what it was, but definitely a little bait ball hanging out, which is great. Things are waking up. Things are becoming active. That's what we like to see in April. So it is still the very early part of the month. So temper expectations, but it is absolutely a good month and a good time to go fishing. So good luck.
Inland fishermen have been doing well with trout, but the thing that we saw in Connecticut as well as other states across southern New England was a strong increase in largemouth bass this week. I got this really nice picture from my buddy Nick Dietz. This kid's a beast. He can fish for anything, and he's proven it again here with this fat largemouth. And that shows what we've been seeing across the southern region. That largemouth bite has been really good. The jerkbait has been really kicking them out, but the jigs and the Ned rigs have been getting it done as well. Moving out toward the Housatonic, things are approaching peak fishing for that holdover bite. We're seeing these stripers get a lot more aggressive. They're taking darters, they're taking mag darters, they're taking soft plastics, they're taking swimming plugs, all kinds of stuff like that. Faster moving baits are catching fish. And we're seeing some really nice fish coming out of there as the herrings start to trickle in. And for a little bit more on that and other things happening in the Western Sound, let's check in now with Max Finch from Fisherman's World.
Hey everyone, Max here from Fisherman's World with another local fishing report. This past week, the Housatonic continues to get better, with the upriver bite really starting to fire up as we move into April. We heard some whispers of some herring starting to make the way up to the dam. This could be hit or miss, but the spring herring really starts showing up in the month of April. It's not just the Housatonic that gets to run. Our local rivers like the Norwalk River, the Saugatuck River, and smaller little streams of rivers also get some herring runs. So if you want to try to get away from the crowds, it can sometimes be real worth it to venture out and start to hit some local, herring runs. And you'll be surprised the quality of bass you'll find in these small streams and rivers. Other than that, the Norwalk beaches continue to put out some fish. We've seen a lot of slot-sized fish, and I did see a picture of a fish up to 35 inches caught in Norwalk Harbor on a bloodworm. You can fish Norwalk Harbor and then Norwalk Tidal River all the way up to Wall Street. This is a really good spot for early season stripers. And to our west, down towards the Throgs and stuff, we're starting to hear some 30-inch class fish getting caught more frequently, and this should continue to get better as the fish start to make their way to do their spring spawn up the Hudson. On the freshwater side, the streams and rivers are fishing really well. Remember that it's harvest on April 12th it opens up, and the Saugatuck Reservoir also opens up April 12th. Thanks and good luck.
And that's what happened, you guys, in the reports this week. Hopefully you're going to find it inspiring to get out there. We got really nice weather. We've got a great largemouth bite. We've got holdover stripers getting fired up. There's a lot of reasons to get out there and fish. If you're not a subscriber to the Fisherman magazine, I highly recommend you head over to our website. That's thefisherman.com. You get a full taste of everything that we offer. We cover all the fishing, whether you're out there by the windmills, or whether you're right here on the beach, or whether you're freshwater fishing in the kayak, you're on a paddleboard, you got twin outboards, doesn't matter. We cover it all. We travel outside of our region. We do tackle building. We do lure building. We do rod building. We do all kinds of stuff. It's $31.95 for the year. That's 12 paper issues and 26 digital editions sent to your email, plus digital access to all the back issues and digital access to our other 2 editions. So if you signed up for the New England edition, you get digital access to the Long Island and the New Jersey edition. How can you go wrong? It's $32. You get 3 magazines. You get all the back issues. If you're still not interested, though, if you head over to the website and you're just not convinced, at the very least, give us a like and subscribe here on YouTube and hit that little bell thing right there so you get a notification every time we post something new. I appreciate you guys for watching. We'll see you next week.
Are you the best angler in the Northeast? Well, now is your chance to prove it. The Fisherman's Dream Boat Contest is back. Win this Steigercraft center console powered by Yamaha along with these other great prizes. Fish hard and weigh in as many of these species to be top on the leaderboard. What's the catch? You must be a subscriber to the Fisherman magazine. All it takes is 1 fish on the board to win a great prize. So however you fish, you have a shot. For all the details and official rules, visit thefisherman.com.